This is the Kestrel Country Podcast, where we discuss the people, places, and events all around Kestrel Country. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Kestrel Country Podcast. Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Mike Church, joined once again by my lovely wife and co-host, Kathryn.
Hello, hello.
And we are here to introduce our next guest, our interview.
Yep, that's right.
That you just finished.
Yep.
I sat this one out. Although,
well, after your lone one with Jed, we could do one without you.
Although, man, I have had Salt Bakery baked goods a number of times. The bagels in particular. Oh, man. I love a good salt bagel. I actually love everything with salt, but salt bagels too. And they can be kind of hard to find. And Betsy with Salt Bakery did some that we got here at the office one time, and they were just absolutely incredible. So I'm kind of sorry that I missed this one.
Well, you'll have to listen to it because we talk about the bagels.
Nice.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. So looking forward to this. So just give a quick introduction.
So we had Betsy Becker from Salt Bakery on to talk about how she got started, what is Salt Bakery, what she's doing. And Betsy's an incredibly talented, creative person. So salt is one of her endeavors, but she's also a landscape designer or architect, one of the two. And incredibly talented that way. She has cool gardens at her home that I've been to before, but we don't really touch on that. We really focus on Salt Bakery and what she's done with that when she launched, which was 2020.
Nice.
And it's fantastic. It is. It's super tasty and they're beautiful.
Well, I'm excited about that. And also, I mean, that might be a great option if you need something for Valentine's Day coming up.
Special order items. You better talk to her soon. And we talk about how to
coming
get in
up.
touch.
Is that next week?
Monday.
Week after next.
It's a Monday.
So a week from Monday. Yeah. So I guess we'll probably have time to jump on again and do an episode just about a quick update of all the different places around here you can go, different options for Valentine's Day.
Reservations might already be full.
That's true. So get out, get it done. Anyway, enjoy the interview.
So we've got Betsy Becker from Salt Bakery with us today, which is really fun. Betsy's been in Moscow a long time. Actually, I don't know how long. How long have you been?
I think this summer makes 24 years.
That's a long time.
So a little while. Yeah.
It's pretty great. Yeah. And tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a wife and mom. We have 4 kids. They range in age from 7 to 16 now. They are all in school all day long now. And my husband works at Story Family Medicine here in Moscow. Loving that. We are all loving that.
We love Story Family Medicine. They're great.
It's a good place to be a patient and to work. He is also the sports medicine guy at Logos School, where our kids are. So we're just in that busy phase where everybody's doing everything at the school all the time, and it's just a lot of fun.
Living in the car.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Yes. Okay, so how did you get the idea for salt or baking? Has it always been a passion?
Yes, so I've always enjoyed baking. I think that when a lot of people like to reorganize their binders come finals week instead of studying, I wanted to bake. That was my thing. It was a fun distraction for me. And I've been doing it for a long, long time. And I would have people ask me, like, why have you ever considered starting a bakery? And I was like, no, I like to be asleep at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
So I put it off and put it off and put it off for a long time. And then we kind of started talking about it once the kids were all in school. My youngest is in 2nd grade now. So just the past 2 years, he's been all day. And I had a lot more time on my hands, and I was trying to figure out what I should be doing with that time. What would be a good use of that? So we started talking about it 2 years ago now, year and a half. And we're like, maybe start thinking about it. Try and figure out what it would look like. How deep did I want to go? Like, do I want to just wade into the kiddie pool? Do I want to jump into the deep end? How do we want this to look? So I came up with the name, started the Instagram account, started to just kind of put stuff out there, but not really launch it until January of last year. It was actually Inauguration Day. And, we were still in the midst of all of the masking mandates and stuff like that. And things were just tense.
Right.
And you would walk around town and there just seemed to be so much division and not knowing if people that you saw were friendly or not.
Right.
And
You don't even, people just kind of avoid.
Yeah,
They'll go to the other side or, around.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Inauguration Day hit and there were everything just exploded. And I was like, you know what? Today is a good day to start this, because I guess what I should explain is that the principle of the bakery is buy one, give one. So I think of it more as a ministry than as a business. That helps to keep a lot of things straight for me.
You have your verse in Nehemiah, what's the verse that it's based on?
It's,
I put you right on the spot.
Seriously.
Okay, so that people can look it up.
No, but it's eat the fat, drink sweet wine, take food to anyone who doesn't have any prepared, for today is the day of the Lord. And so I give away half of what I make to people either that I come up with or to people that are nominated by friends. And so that's what I wanted to start doing on Inauguration Day when everything was exploding. There's something else I was going to say.
So how did you start that? What did you put out there on your Instagram first post?
First post was a picture of Nehemiah 8:10 written on a 3x5 card on my fridge. And I just took a picture of that and put it on there and was like, okay, we're launching this today. Today's the day we're doing this. And here's the idea. So send me names of people that you want me to anonymously take baked goods to, and I will start a list. So I have a list on my phone running of people who have been nominated by friends. And then I think I put up my first bag of bagels that day and then delivered my first loaf of gifted bread that night.
So you immediately sold what you put up.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
And it was a little bit iffy at first. There were times when I wasn't sure if things were going to sell. I remember one time listing a few dozen bagels and then going for a run and just praying that when I got done with my run, I'd get home and some of it would be sold. And I got home and all of it was sold. And so that's a big blessing. And the gifting side of it actually works well in the business model, because I can list everything that I have, and then whatever doesn't sell
becomes the gift.
Yeah, and so nothing is wasted, nothing is thrown away, which is kind of a risk in food service,
Right.
So it just works well. And then depending on how balanced my gifting versus selling numbers are, some days I'll just bake and not list anything because I need to give more away. So
Right.
that's what I'm doing this month, because so much sold during December and I didn't have time to make all
to get all the gifts.
Gift. So January has been very much a gifting month.
That's really fun.
Yeah.
And in terms of your business model, is it something that you're seeing wanting to expand, or this is a happy place to be?
This is a pretty happy place for me to be. I like to dabble a lot. I like to do things that I've never been looking for a full-time career.
Right.
And I've had offers for the bakery to start places. And I'm like, that would be really fun to try. Maybe I'll try it. And I'm like, you know what?
I know that's a big thing to bite off.
To commit to.
Yeah. And it's a long time you're committing to get it off the ground. Although Moscow does need a bakery.
I know. That was said last night.
Yes, it was.
I hid my
I know.
head.
Well, I think there's a lot of talented bakers.
Yes.
There are.
And we just need to get together and figure out a way to do it.
A model that makes sense for living your life with your kids.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's so many of the bakers that I know are moms. And
Exactly.
they're very skillful bakers.
Very skillful.
Because they've spent a decade practicing on their family.
Yeah. And it's fantastic.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Anyway.
So you have been catching up on the gifting. In terms of how much you post, do you just pick and choose? Do you take special orders from
I
people?
do take special orders. I don't have a website because I don't want people to be able to go on and place an order and expect it to be done without me getting to
set the timeline.
set the timeline, okay it basically. So I just take orders via Messenger. And I think there's been one that I've turned down, and it was from a family member. So,
So it was okay.
so I still have a hard time saying no, but
Yes. What's been your specialty or your sweet spot? What are your favorite things to make? Are you limiting yourself, or is it just kind of because of this flexibility, you can make whatever you want?
Right. I can make whatever I want for the most part. We did have a fun kind of a test about a month into the bakery. Gosh, I don't think it was even a month. It was maybe a week or two, where a local business contacted me and said, hey, can you bring in a box of baked goods, Chef's Choice, once a week? And I was like, do I really want to do this? And my husband wisely counseled me and said, I think you need to say yes to this, because if you don't, it will fizzle out. And he was entirely right. So that has allowed me to have a lot of staples, but also a place to experiment and try new things and test them out on the wonderful guys at the business. And they've been very supportive and good feedback and stuff like that. So it's been a lot of fun. So I started out doing bagels. Bagels were the thing. And I have done a lot of those, but I love the laminated doughs, the croissants, and stuff like that. And that's what I love to eat. I'm not like a donut person. I'm not a huge cookie person, but the buttery, salty,
the flakiness,
and getting that texture right is it's kind of a holy grail. And continuing to tweak recipes and figure out how to get to that and that sort of thing I enjoy that a lot.
That's really fun. Do you have your kids help with you?
Not a ton, mostly because, if I'm honest, it's because I'm a perfectionist. So they do help some. My boys in particular are my delivery men.
Okay.
And so we will drive around and I'll pull up in front of a house and one of them will hop out and run to the door with a gifted box or whatever.
That's really fun.
Just say blessings from friends and hand them off. And they really enjoy that. And I give them like a dime every time they do that.
They make some money.
Yeah, they do. And it's like they've made, some good like lunch money.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
No, that's really fun.
Yeah. They enjoy that. And it's good for them to interact with people, see the smiles, see the surprise, and feel what it's like to give.
To be that spot.
So, opportunity for
because I did flowers for so long. It was a similar thing when you were dropping off flowers. Although you also, and I'm sure you've probably dealt with some of this too, when you're doing sympathy flowers or, you're that face right there too, which is, it's a harder position to be in. And yet at the same time, it's a big honor to be able to give somebody something to try to bless them through the situation.
It really is. And one of the things I have really loved about the model is, since the gifted goods are anonymous, people don't know where they're coming from, but I will get a lot of, and I don't need to know why I'm gifting the things. Just like send me a name, send me an address, and I'll be happy to take it. And because of that, I have been able to take things to people, not knowing why. Like I'll generally have an idea that there's a trial going on or something like that, but I'll take something to someone, and there was a family who had some hard news about a pregnancy, and they thought they were losing their baby, and I think that baby's like 3 months old now. And everything worked out, but I didn't hear until like a month or two afterwards that that's what it was, and so it's really good to be able to bless people in those hard seasons, and then just see the work of God after the fact, seeing how it worked out, seeing what happened, and to know sometimes that they're struggling when nobody else knows that they're struggling, when it's not public, but to see what they're putting out there publicly and to see their cheerfulness, to see their joy, to see their contentment in the midst of hard trials. And so that's not something usually that I can share with other people. Lots of other people don't get to see that, but it's been a blessing to me personally to be able to be on this side of it and see that.
So it's just so much more. When we had Connie Rosendahl on talking about Sisters Cookies, that was kind of a similar vein that she, I don't think had been expecting, or when I'm trying to retell this correctly, but that the cookies themselves turned into such, unique gifts with cancer patients, and then being able to have them at the funeral for one of the guys who just looked forward to that cookie after his chemotherapy, and so that butter and fat and flour and all of these things can be such a huge blessing. And it's so much more than just feeding you physically. So that's fantastic. But so jumping over to your recipes and your ingredients, have you been messing with them a lot so that you have your own complete secret stash or your favorite ingredients?
I do have a Moleskine notebook that is it's about 3 inches thick now because the pages are so wrinkled and from being wet and floured on and everything like that. So I do have my, and in that notebook I have just like pages after pages after pages of recipe attempts, especially the bagels, developing that, figuring out how it worked for me, that sort of thing. So I do have a lot of my own tweaks, things that I've done to make it work, figuring out that like, okay, when I'm making bagels in the summertime, those first 2 rises need to be 12 minutes because it's warm outside. And in the wintertime, they need to be 14 minutes because it's cooler. And if I don't wait that long, then they don't rise properly. And the final ones look more like Frisbees.
And the taste is
not what we're going for. So I have done a lot of that. And that's just a fun part too, just figuring out the science in it and how to make them work. So.
And what about, do you test out different flours, or are you pretty?
I really haven't a lot. I would love to. Most of it's just a matter of cost.
Yeah.
The volume that I do is enough that, I just go with a fairly inexpensive flour. I do like to work with seasonal ingredients whenever I can. Like last summer, we went out to Nelson's Orchard in Troy and we picked a bunch of cherries.
Yeah.
And then I made them into Danishes. And one of the fun things was I posted them on the Instagram account, and a lady who is a Nelson bought a box of them and took them back out to the orchard to share with her family out there. So that was just like totally
full
unexpected,
circle,
but a lot of fun. Yeah.
That's really fun.
So I do try to do stuff like that. And then also like seasonal, as far as pumpkin spice muffins in the fall and Christmas cookies and stuff like that. So,
December was pretty crazy this year.
December was pretty crazy. I had a number of special orders, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I definitely had to cut it off a couple of days before Christmas.
so you could have Christmas?
So that I could like not be burned out on baking for my own family come Christmas morning.
Right.
But and that's another fun thing, is having stuff in the house all the time for my kids.
Plus the smells all the time.
Well, the smells are, you can't beat those. But my youngest actually came downstairs the other morning and was like, "Mom, where's the box?" Because we have an old Tupperware box. It's like a cupcake box or something like that. I think that is where I put all the extras that the kids can raid whenever they want to. I'm like, "Oh, but it's in the pantry. I washed it. It's clean." He's like, "But I want something you made." Like, sorry. But the other side of it is that my kids are totally unimpressed by anything anymore. They're like, "Oh, croissants. Yeah, whatever."
Yeah, we have those every day.
Okay, well, I don't know what to do with you anymore. Sorry.
Oh man, I love it. And is it just you then? Nobody's helping you?
No, I did ask for help when my initial plan for all the sales in December was to do a massive chocolate chip cookie bake and delivery. But it just became a matter of time.
Right.
It didn't really pan out like that. It's kind of been a trickle instead of a massive delivery thing. I did request helpers for delivery on that, and somebody did message me, but it ended up that I didn't even need that. So
you were able to.
Yeah. But for now it's just me.
Yeah. Is it something where you've had people approach you because they want to learn?
I've had some moms approach me and say, "Hey, could my daughter come and watch or help or that sort of thing, so that she can get to know what's involved behind the scenes and that sort of thing." And I like sharing that part of it, the behind the scenes stuff, whenever I can, because that's always something that I'm interested in.
Yeah. The hows. Yeah. How do you get this result to work?
What goes into it?
Or why is this failing? Because that can be frustrating.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I posted a picture of my kitchen one time, and I was like, and it's a tiny kitchen. Like we have a tiny kitchen. I was like, this is where it all comes from. Like there's no commercial kitchen involved here. Yeah. There's nothing huge. I don't have, a lovely huge island or anything like that I'm working off of. And like partly as this is not an unattainable thing for anyone, I don't think. Like anybody could do this. And that's another one of the hopes with the nominating friends, with the gifted goods, is that I'm happy to be the hands and feet that goes out and does that. Like if you don't have time to do something for a friend, let me know. I'm happy to take it. I'm happy to do that for you. I mean, I know we all have different things going on, and so that's totally fine. But another thing I wanted to encourage people to do was to look around and to see, like, look at your friends. How are they doing? Do they need encouragement? Are they struggling? Or who are you thankful for? Like your pastors, your teachers, people like that. Like, just look around and think of who you can bless in any situation, either thankfulness or sharing trials or rejoicing with them in something. Just look around, and if you want to do this sort of thing too, like you can totally do this.
Yeah.
Like, this is, let's have 5 salt bakeries. Let's have lots of people start doing this sort of thing. I think that would be amazing.
So it is. It's fantastic. Well, and then Tiny Kitchen makes me think of Smitten Kitchen, because she started in her little New York.
Yeah, mine's not that small.
You're not that small.
I will try to be fair. I'm not that small.
But tasty. So tasty. Yeah. Is there an absolute favorite baked good of yours?
I think my favorite one is the morning bun. So it's a enriched, like croissant type dough. It's an enriched laminated dough. And then you roll a brown sugar, cinnamon, and salt mixture in it.
Yum.
And you roll it up kind of like a cinnamon roll, put it in a muffin tin. And they always come out looking good with all these perfect layers, and it's cinnamon sugar, and you like roll it in extra cinnamon sugar when it comes out of the oven. And it's just that, like, not super sweet.
Right.
It's not a cinnamon roll. It doesn't have a ton of frosting and stuff like that on top. But it gets that laminated dough in there. It gets those flakes, and it just like falls apart. So, that is, I like making a lot of the things, but that is my favorite.
Your absolute favorite.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if people wanted to find you, what's your Instagram account?
My Instagram is just Salt Bakery.
Okay. And that's the best way if they want to gift or put a name in for the listing, for the gifting.
Yes.
Then send it that way.
Send it via Messenger that way. Try not to maybe put it in comments on the pictures.
Right.
So that's not.
So it's a private.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you can also find me on Facebook. I'm on there as Salt Bakery as well. Send me a message that way. That's great. Yeah.
And then I have to throw it in there because you did say you like to dabble. So I know you also do jewelry.
Yes, I do.
So you're very in all sorts of areas. So how did that start? And
jewelry?
Yes.
Yeah, jewelry was because I had a friend who was doing it, and I was like, oh man, I'm getting some ideas too. I want to try this out. And what happens when you start making jewelry is you can go to Michael's and buy just a few pieces. Or if you want to get a good variety of pieces, you order them online, but they come in like 20s and 50s.
Oh.
And so you want to make a pair of earrings, and it's not expensive to do, but then you have a ton of pieces left over, and it's like, well, I might as well make some more and either gift them to friends or just, start a little business. And so that's what I did. And then I, did that for about a year and started figuring out, like what would it look like to do silversmithing and soldering and stuff like that, and taking it a little bit further and going beyond wire wrapping. And I just like to, see what the next thing is. How do I go do that? I like growing up, my mom was always saying like, oh, I could make that.
Right.
Oh, I could make that.
Right. And she was talented in lots of areas too, artistically, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And so I just like to look around and say, I wonder if I can do that, and try it out and see, and be like, oh yeah, turns out I can do that. Okay, cool.
That's a fun thing to do.
Move on. To the next thing.
Yeah. So you've got your creativity landing in a couple different spices right now.
Yeah. Like I did and landscaping. Like I did.
Yes, that's right.
I did
your landscape
building.
design. Yeah.
I couldn't find a parking spot out back, and I was like, well, it's my own fault. I designed a lot. I mean, I should have put in more spots. Jeez.
I know. Although at the same time, it's the constant problem with the parking and the landscaping.
Yeah. How do you want to figure that out?
Yeah. How much do you want before you have some beautiful trees?
Or a total lack of them and cut them all down.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I do. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm very hesitant to start a full-time bakery is because I do like being able to do
that
all
creative element.
Yeah. Like our current big new thing is we bought an old truck and we are doing an engine swap on it.
Oh, wow.
And so just figuring that out, like, okay, well, what is involved in doing an engine swap on a 78 Ford? Like,
and how does it relate to the chemistry in baking?
Yeah, it doesn't. No, our joke has been that it will, once we get it up and running, it will be the delivery truck.
There you go.
Which will be fun.
That would be really fun.
So who knows if we'll see my old blue truck driving around town at any point. But that is just like, I see a new thing and I want to try it. I want to see how that works. And so,
But Salt has been pretty successful.
Salt has been very successful, actually, and more so than any of my other endeavors. And I've talked to a couple of friends about it, and they said, "Well, it's just people need croissants. Like that's why
it is. It's a need."
But I also think I think that the model of I think that God has just been kind. I think that the gifting half of it, and focusing on keeping it a ministry above all else has just been. That's just something that he made successful. It wasn't. I don't think it was anything that that I did. So, yeah.
Right. Well, we're glad you do have it, and it's very tasty. So if you need some goods, you want to go message Betsy over at Salt Bakery on Instagram.
Yeah.
So thanks, Betsy. Really appreciate it.
Problem. Thanks for having me.
Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you next week.